Hello, folks. This is Anthony once again. Thank you for visiting our Honda Snowblower channel on YouTube. And I want to thank the members of my group for asking for this fall pre-winter inspection. You know what to check for before you need your snowblower for the winter. So let me show you really quick. This will only take about 15-20 minutes. I know that most people are like me. They put the snowblower away, at the end of the winter, 7, 8 months ago or whatever. It's gathering dust. It's under a bunch of crap, and you don't even think about it until you need it for the first storm. So you get bring it out the first storm, and you start having problems with it. So this will save you a lot of headaches if you take about 15 minutes of your time, September, October, or whatever, before the snow shows up. Take the time to check out your snow blower, and then you won't have any surprises. So let me show you what I do. Here's my 624, uh, which I use most of the time. It got a lot of use last winter. I took it out of storage yesterday. I'm going to show you what I check. So first thing I check is the inside of the bucket. I'll make sure the augers are nice and straight. They're not bent. I'll check all the shear pins, make sure they're tight, snug them up. They're usually loose. Mine were loose, so I needed to tighten them up a little bit. Yesterday I did a video on greasing your augers. Pretty easy to do. Only takes a few minutes. Take out the small shear pin. Make sure your auger turns freely. Throw some lubricating oil in here. You can use just about anything. A light grease, spray grease, like a white lithium spray. Spray it in here. Spray it in here on this. See on the shafts between the cam lock and the auger. I take the I take the middle bolt out of here. This goes through your augers. You can spray some down the hole with the straw attached to the spray can. Okay. So I check this. I just make sure the housing guard's adjusted correctly. We've got a video and articles on that. By the way, we've got articles on our Honda Snowblower enthusiast group on Facebook. I started that group 5 years ago, and mostly we got probably over 100 articles on how to do everything on these things. People started asking me to do videos on them because it's easier to understand. So if you don't want to look at this, go read the article on the Honda Snowblower Enthusiast group on Facebook. So usually what I do, I start on this end, start checking this. I'll check the worm gear for my shooter control. Maybe throw a lot of little grease in here. You want to make sure your hat is working. I don't know what you guys call it or what Honda calls it. I call it the top hat. So you want to use your control up here and make sure it doesn't stick. If need be, you can spray some grease in the ends here. You can put some light grease here. Um, you can make sure that works. You check all your cables, make sure there's no breaks in them. Make sure they're not broken anywhere. If they are, the cables might still work. I might wrap some electrical tape around the brakes. Okay, you don't have to change the cable unless it's not working anymore. A bunch of water got in there and got rusty. Here's the boot on the cable. You can pull the boot off. All you have to do is pull it off like that. You can spray some cable lube, chain lube, cable lube down this hole, penetrating oil. Let it work down. It's got a boot on both ends of the cable, so you can do it on both ends, and then you just push the boot back on. You can check, see, here's some more boots. You can pull those off and spray some in there. if it's not holding up, see how it's working and snapping back, and it's not kinking. This is not kinking. None of the cables are kinking. Then you're probably good to go. Underneath, you can spray into the clutches. They're called the clutches uh, for your controls, for your transmission control. You can lubricate the cables there. You can make sure that your recoil start is working all right. You can make sure it's snapping back correctly. Check your tire pressure. This one has 8.5 psi's. You want to make sure both tires are the same pressure. Otherwise, if one's low and one's high, your bucket's going to be scraping, wearing out on one side or the other. So that's another thing you want to check. You want to check your oil before you start it, of course. Check your gas, make sure it's fresh. Put some fresh gas in there, ethanol-free gas. Uh, if you have it on your garage floor on the cardboard, you want to see if there's any leaks. That might be something that doesn't happen very often on a Honda, but you want to check for leaks. Uh, Carburetor leaks. I'm feeling underneath for some gas, see if there's leaking any gas. What I usually do at the end of the winter, I turn off the gas. I start it up, turn off the gas, and let it run until it dries out. It stalls out, okay? So then you can turn the gas on and see if it starts leaking or whatever. Sometimes the the bowl O-ring might dry out or crack or something over time, and it might start leaking on you. Here's your drain on your carburetor. You check your hydrostatic fluid. On a tracked unit, you want to check your tracks for cracks, for adjustment. You want to check to make sure that the the pin is in the axle there with your cotter pin, okay? So you're looking around for issues that you might have to address before you need the snowblower first time it snows. First time it snows, I get all kinds of messages and emails from people. It won't start, it's not doing this, it's not doing that. So it's really avoidable. If you take the little bit of time in the fall to check out the snowblower, then you won't have any kind of surprises the first time it snows. So once you've done your walk around, as I call it, you also want to make sure this locks down as it should. It's a fairly easy fix. We have a video on that. So once you've checked everything, then you want to start it up. Of course, you've already checked the oil. Put in some fresh gas. Let's turn the key on. I haven't started this in about 7 or 8 months, so let's see what happens. If it doesn't start, after 3 or 4 pulls, then you have to look into why. This is a typical Honda. I use, it starts on the first or second pull even after 8 months. I use ethanol-free gas, which locally you can get at the Maverick stations in Reno. But I make sure that I put fresh premium unleaded gas in there with a gas stabilizer, and that's what happens. It started right up. Like I said, if it won't start right up, then you might have to drain the carburetor of some old gas and drain the old gas in the tank, put some fresh stuff in there, and see why. You do not want this to happen when the first time you need the snowblower, of course, right? You don't want any surprises or headaches. So once you've started it up, you want to check your all your functions. You want to check to make sure your augers are turning and your impellers turning and it's not making any weird noises. You want to make sure all your cables are working correctly, all your chute and your transmission so you can go back and forth. You want to make sure your throttle is working up and down with no issues. So that's what I do when I check out my snowblower. Here it is, October 2nd. I've decided, I'm doing a service on it. But if it's already been serviced and you've taken care of the little issues, give it a little bit of walk around, inspect it, make sure everything works. And then you know that the first time you need the machine, you'll be able to, you won't have any surprises and you won't have any any headaches. Okay, folks? If you like this video, please subscribe and like on the YouTube channel, Honda Snowblower Enthusiast, and visit our Facebook group by the same name. And we'll see you next time. Have a great day.